The story kicks off with a boy staring at a photo of a drop-dead gorgeous girl in his hands. But here's the twist. She's the fiancée of our poor protagonist. And yeah, she's not just beautiful, she's the kind of pretty that makes you question reality for a second. Our protagonist, completely frazzled, looks like he's about to explode. Both families had agreed that the fiancé would move in with him, but there's just one tiny hiccup. They're both still in middle school. The poor guy lets out a scream that probably scared the neighbor's cats. Flashback to a few days earlier, back home, in the middle of brushing his teeth. Sang Hyun, our 15-year-old hero, finds out something that would shake anyone. His dad has diabetes. Shaken and scared, his father spills everything about his condition, like it's a last confession. Overwhelmed by thoughts of dying, he goes in for a dramatic father-son hug, but Sang Hyun shuts it down like a champ. Trying to make sense of it, he asks if there are any stages or levels. His dad casually replies, 150 blood sugar. Looking downcast, Dad mutters, guess I'll have to switch up my diet now. Sang Hyun raises an eyebrow. 150? That's it? He shrugs it off, thinking Dad's just being dramatic again. But no, it wasn't the number that had Dad freaking out. It was the fact that their chaotic living situation would just make things so much worse. Suddenly, Dad storms toward the kitchen, points like a commander at war, and throws open the fridge. Nothing but ramen. No veggies. No hope. And there it is, the source of all his sorrow. If only I had a daughter who could cook, he laments like he's in a tragic K-drama. Feeling hopeless, he slumps down, whispering, I think I'm gonna die like this. Trying to offer a lifeline, Sang Hyun suggests hiring a housekeeper. But that only sets Dad off again. Turns out Sang Hyun had traumatized the last maid with his bratty behavior. Still trying to be helpful, Sang Hyun jokes, how about you just remarry? But Dad immediately shuts that idea down. Sang Hyun is left speechless, watching the emotions play on his dad's face like a sad movie. With a heavy heart, Dad confesses the only woman he ever loved was Sang Hyun's mom. No one could ever replace her. Sang Hyun sits there stunned, not knowing what to say anymore. Out of ideas and patience, he gives up, throwing in the towel. Dad just sits there quietly, until an odd glimmer appears in his eyes. Breaking the silence, Dad mumbles, what if we had a woman living with us? Sang Hyun does a double take. He asks, confused, you mean like a housekeeper, or you actually are thinking of remarrying? But Dad stays cryptically silent. Now fully baffled, Sang Hyun presses him, wait, what do you mean? Dad finally drops the bomb. You should get married. For Dad, it's the perfect plan. For Sang Hyun, it's like the world just glitched. He yells, I'm a middle schooler. You want me to what? But Dad is dead serious. Still yelling, he goes, I'm not joking either. This is insane. I can't just get married. And then bam, Dad whips out a photo and says, think it over. Sang Hyun freezes. Because in that photo, a girl so cute and beautiful, she could be the lead in a romance manga. He's totally floored, cheeks going red like a tomato. That's when we find out Dad had a best friend named Mr. Tai Woo from Busan. And yeah, Sang Hyun remembers him. Well, Dad says casually, he's dead now. Cue shocked silence. Then he adds, I promised him I'd take care of his daughter. And Sang Hyun, absolutely livid. He doesn't even know this girl. Dad, trying to push his master plan, reminds him it's an arranged marriage. Parents have the right, he declares. And just for good measure, he waves the photo in front of Sang Hyun again like a bribe. This time, Sang Hyun is full-on blushing, heart racing, looking like someone in love. He just keeps staring at that picture like it holds the secrets of the universe. And of course, Dad notices the blush and smirks a little. Snapping back to reality, Sang Hyun blurts out that it's just not okay. They're both in middle school, for crying out loud. Trying to soothe him, Dad says, don't worry, leave it to me. Like that's supposed to help. Then Dad drops the real kicker. She'll be living with us next week. You'll get to know her better. Sang Hyun practically short circuits. While Dad keeps talking like it's totally normal, Sang Hyun's brain is doing backflips. What the heck is going on? Then finally, unable to take it anymore, he lets out a scream so loud it could have cracked glass. The walls practically shook. In class, the protagonist was frustrated, continuously thinking about his fiancée in middle school. He was exhausted. He was frustrated that his love life had been decided by his father instead of by his own choice. Suddenly, his attention was grabbed by an image and he blushed. He felt she was really cute. 1 week passed and it was time for the girl to visit his home. He was having breakfast with his father. His father was asking dumb questions, but the protagonist wasn't buying any of it. Then his father pulled the trigger and mentioned his fiancée. He asked if the protagonist was happy. Obviously, the protagonist was blushing and angry at the same time. His father got confused when the protagonist said she would be here only for tonight. As he was about to grab his dad by the neck, The doorbell rang. To stop his dad, he rushed forward. He tried to calm himself. Slowly opening the door, he asked, "Who is it?" But his eyes widened in shock. Her legs were beautiful. Her lips were soft, and her face structure was amazing. The protagonist was stunned. He asked her what brought her here. She mentioned his name, and he started blushing again. With cute expressions, she greeted him as her fiancé. As she told her name was Umari, the protagonist was stunned. With a mental glitch, he called out to his dad. He asked if she was the one, and Dad nodded in confirmation. With a blushing face, he turned his head toward her. She was standing in front of him with a gentle smile. He nearly lost his mind. He was focused on her big breasts, a slim and well-maintained waist, and a very beautiful face. But one question popped into his mind. There was no way she looked like a middle schooler like him. At his house, his dad looked more than happy. He told her to relax and treat it like her own place now. His dad couldn't stop smiling, and yeah, it was frustrating for the protagonist. He looked at his dad with frustration. Dad looked back at him and decided something. Pointing a finger toward him, Dad told Umari about her fiancé. But he denied the relationship, making both Dad and Umari confused. He explained that she was an adult, and this wouldn't work. He looked at her as she was about to say something. She suddenly apologized for being too old and asked him to let her stay and not kick her out. He was flabbergasted. He tried to explain to her that she wasn't wrong here and they weren't kicking her out. Suddenly, with a silent expression, his dad whispered. He yelled at the protagonist for being rude. He screamed at him for rejecting her just because of a little age difference. Looking at their quarrel, Umari was confused and called the protagonist baby. He screamed out loud as soon as he heard the word baby. He was frustrated. He was stuck in a very weird situation here. As he was cursing his fate, her image appeared in his mind and made him confused. He got up. As he was thinking of settling this matter with his father, his eyes caught something, and it really shocked him. Umari had just come out of the bathroom in a towel, and they both locked eyes. He was stunned, and she stated that she forgot her change of clothes. He suddenly turned his head around, blushing. Her expression was soft, and she apologized to him. As he listened, she continued that she understood he didn't like them being together because of the age gap, but she was determined to be his wife. And for that, she was ready to offer her body to him, and she exposed herself. She asked if he would accept her after her offering, and he was completely stunned. He was confused. Had she really prepared her mind and body just for him? He was so shocked. The only word he managed was, "Excuse me?" He was speechless, staring at her overwhelming beauty. He quickly told her to cover up, saying he didn't have any such fantasies at the moment. He then asked her why she had called him. He wondered if she needed something. She was kind of blushing now. And then she told him her stuff hadn't arrived yet, mumbling. She said she didn't have anything to wear at night and asked if he could lend her a shirt. He was genuinely shocked by that. Hesitantly, he asked if she needed just a shirt or pants too, but she said just the shirt. After a while, he was lying on the bed, hugging his pillow tightly and blushing like crazy with a flustered smile. He thought maybe a 9-year age gap isn't that bad these days. He was falling for her. He couldn't stop remembering her big breasts again and again. Her pretty smile was totally stealing his heart. He was blushing just thinking about it, but he tried to control his emotions. He thought maybe she wouldn't even like him, but deep inside he was definitely falling for her. But again, his face turned red. He imagined her saying softly, "Don't chase me out." He started getting excited that she was going to live with him, and maybe someday they'd actually get married. He started imagining her in strange, dreamy positions, waiting for him on the bed. Man, this boy was blushing way too hard. Meanwhile, she wore his shirt and heard him laughing. She smelled the shirt and felt something different. Her expression suddenly changed. The shirt smelled fishy. Next day arrived. He woke up from his sleep. He was walking downstairs, still feeling a bit dizzy. He kept remembering her asking for his shirt, and that thought made him blush again with a gentle smile. Suddenly, someone asked him why he looked so happy. It caught him completely off guard, but suddenly his eyes widened in shock. His father was sitting at the breakfast table, and Umari had cooked today. He was stunned looking at the neatly prepared breakfast. The food looked incredibly delicious. His father told him that everything had been made by Umari. She even prepared a special dish just for him, which completely shocked him. The dish looked so visually pleasing. His father started praising both her beauty and her cooking skills. His father was so happy. He said he was ready to register them as officially engaged. But he asked his father to calm down, and his dad just laughed out loud. He thought he'd try the food and took his first bite. His father also took his first bite. But suddenly, their eyes widened in shock. Sang Hyun and his father both froze after having the first bite. They were unable to speak, and suddenly a wave of happiness spread across their faces. They really liked it. They started appreciating her, and she had no words to reply. Sang Hyun attacked the food, and suddenly he looked at her. He felt her cooking skills were amazing, and she was so pretty as well. And with that, he had already started imagining her as his bride. After they finished eating, father stood up, ready to leave for the office. He handed her his credit card. Hello, guys. Do you want to know Maria's secret? Please stay tuned in this story. Sang Hyun was shocked because it was the Max Unlimited Premium card. And with a gentle smile, father finally left. They greeted him. Come back soon? Sang Hyun felt awkward that only the two of them were at home now. But he was shocked because Maria had already disappeared without even cleaning the table. He was confused about the dishes, but still blushing over the situation. He looked at the dishes and agreed to wash them. 1 week passed. They were having breakfast, and it felt like their life had completely changed. She was cooking food that tasted truly delicious. He said it tasted like something from a fancy restaurant, to which she didn't say anything. Father asked Maria to take care of Sang Hyun while leaving, which made Sang Hyun blush. He asked Maria to handle the laundry, and she had no problem with it, and he closed the door. Sang Hyun turned his head, suggesting they both should do the laundry, but his expression changed. Maria was feeling cold and started coughing. Sang Hyun agreed to do the laundry himself, and she thanked him. He started by cleaning the dishes. He thought that nothing had changed, except the cooking. Aside from cooking, Maria did nothing and stayed inside her room. He sighed in confusion. But like a love-blind person, he pushed those thoughts away and focused on the chores. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. It was a quick service, and Maria rushed toward the door to receive it. She was accepting delivery of a large box. She took the box and looked toward Sang. As she was going, Sang tried to help her, but she didn't want the help. But suddenly, her foot slipped, and Sang rushed to save her. The slipper went flying. He felt like he saved her, but when he opened his eyes, he was stunned because his hands were on her breasts, and she was blushing. He quickly pulled his hands back in shock. He apologized for whatever had happened unintentionally. But without a word, she headed straight to her room, and now he was staring at his hand. His hand had felt something incredibly soft and squishy. He exploded with embarrassment. The accident was badly timed. But then, he turned his head and noticed something. It was some kind of paper. He picked it up. It was a credit card bill. And then he was shocked again. The figure was quite large, and then he burst out in shock because it was a 6 million won bill in just 1 week. On his way to school, he was continuously thinking about the bill. He knew that it was the card bill which had been handed to Maria. He thought that his father might be using it, so he dialed him. As his father picked up the call, he told Sang that he was about to call him anyway. His dad told him that he wouldn't be coming home for the next 3 days. He immediately started thinking about Maria and himself alone at home. But to his shock, his dad told him to do something with Maria. He panicked, and before he could listen to his father's full words, the call was cut. He was just staring at his mobile. He murmured, "Only 2 of us at home?" He screamed, "Isn't it too sudden?" What will happen during this unannounced time with just the 2 of them? Stay tuned in the story to find out. Scene shifted to evening at his home. He was getting nervous about staying alone with Maria, and he saw the bill. He picked it up, realizing he hadn't looked at it carefully before. He quickly grew suspicious about the package that had been delivered earlier. But he was nervous, as he couldn't directly ask her. It might hurt her feelings. In the bathroom, Maria was taking a shower. Sang Hyun found this as an opportunity. He snuck towards her room and opened the doorknob. As he looked inside, his eyes widened in shock. The room was a total mess. He just stared at it, unable to understand. Her innerwear was peeking out from a bag. So much dust was near the PC. Chips had fallen on the ground. But then he noticed some papers. He looked at them. It was a receipt. Before he could look into it, he felt something behind him. It was Maria, freshly out of the shower. He was scared. If he tried to leave now, he'd definitely get caught. The door crackled, and he was unsure what to do. Maria stepped inside. Her figure looked stunning, wrapped only in a towel. He was hiding inside the cupboard, seeing everything now. He was in no position to escape. As Maria was about to remove her towel, he clenched his teeth. She removed her towel. And looking at the scene, Sang felt incredibly shy. If he got caught now, it would be the end for him. As she approached the cupboard, his heartbeat rose rapidly. But fortunately, she turned to the other side. She picked up something from the bed, which relieved Sang she wore her bra. But it wasn't over yet. He feared she might come back. Suddenly, she placed her hand on something, and Sang looked curiously. She leaned toward the fridge inside her room, which confused Sang. Inside, it was full of beer cans only. She opened a beer and drank it within a few seconds. She was drunk now, and happy too. He was completely shocked now. He just kept staring, wondering how she could drink so much. She was fully focused on the computer screen, and Sang was trying to see what was going on. But unfortunately, he was unable to see through. His attention was grabbed again when he saw her standing up. She stood up to go somewhere. Just then, Sang found the opportunity to get out as she headed to the restroom. But then, he looked at the screen in confusion. It was an internet shopping site. He was shocked. He started counting, and then he was completely shocked as the figure was nearly about 1.6 million won. But then from behind, a voice approached. "What are you doing here?" He was caught in action by Maria now. It was truly an unfortunate moment. Stay tuned for the second part to know what will happen next. And who is this Maria exactly? Will their relationship blossom or will it be over? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Bye.